Hello friends and welcome to the Southern Mountain Kitchen. Today we're going to make chocolate crinkle cookies. So we're going to preheat our ovens to 350 degrees because these take anywhere from 11 to 12 minutes to cook, and we're going to start off with 2 cups of sugar. We're going to use a large bowl for this because we will be mixing up a bit of stuff. And then after that we're adding 1 cup of unsweetened cocoa. And then to that we're going to add a half a cup of vegetable oil. Now once we get this all in our bowl, before we even add the eggs or the vanilla, we're going to mix this up a little bit. This is going to be a really stiff mix, so as you're doing it, the more you add to this, the stiffer it's going to get, because it's going to be kind of like at the end a thick pudding consistency, and we really want that to be, because as you're mixing this up, especially once you get to adding flour to it and everything else, it's really going to stiffen up. So now we're going to add 4 eggs to this, but we're going to put in a couple at a time just so we can mix them in and break open the yolks. So once you get in 2 of them, just go ahead and mix it up a bit. Need a really good spatula for this. It's got a little strength to it because, as I said, this is a thick thing to mix up. Go ahead and make sure all your eggs are in there and just keep mixing this as you go. Now once you get everything into this, it's going to be a little bit of a chore to mix all of this together to get it really to this fudgy consistency that we want it to be before we add anything else to it. So just keep mixing as often as you can as you go and you add things, just to make sure it really mixes through. And once you get going with this, the next thing we're going to need to this is 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract that's going to be added to it. And that's going to be everything that's going into this bowl. So get this mixed up, add in your vanilla, and then we'll move on to the next, because next we're going to do dry ingredients, and then we're going to work our way from taking the dry into the wet and mixing them all up. So once you get the vanilla extract in there, just mix it up some more, and this is going to help a little bit. The vanilla extract is going to give it a little bit of moisture, so it's easier to mix up some of what's left in there. And just make sure that you scrape the sides and the bottom of the bowl to get out anything that might be stuck there, and just work it till it's completely mixed. And then we're going to move on to the dry ingredients in just a minute. So go ahead and make sure, if you have not preheated your oven, you've gotten it up to 350 degrees. Again, 11 to 12 minutes when we're baking these. So with our dry ingredients, you need 2 cups of all-purpose flour, and then to this we're going to add 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and then a half a teaspoon of salt. And then using a whisk, a spoon, or whatever, you want to mix this through to make sure that everything from the baking powder and the salt is completely distributed through your all-purpose flour, because we don't want any of that hanging around in one place. And then we're going to take about half of this and put it into the chocolate mix we already made up and start to mix it through. And I say just do it like half at a time, because like I said, this is stiff, and the more of the dry you add to it, the stiffer it's going to get. So it's just one of those things where, you know, take your time, mix it. This is one of those ones, it's best to do it by hand so you can really get in there and work it and see how much of it is mixed. Because if you put a mixer in something like this, it's really going to strain a lot to mix this. It's just, you know, better to actually do it by hand so you can scrape the sides, scrape the bottom, and make sure everything is incorporated. So just keep mixing it until you get it to a point where the majority of the dry mix we put in there is totally absorbed, and then we'll bring in the rest of it, because we want to make sure we really get it mixed through. It's just easier to do it, like I said, in 2 batches worth of this. So now that I have that part mixed in mostly, I'm going to go ahead and add the rest to this, and then go ahead and mix it until we get a total color of brown here out of the whole thing, because it's going to absorb all of this. It's one of those things where you got to work it for a while to get it to where you need it to be, to absorb all of the dry into the wet ingredients we already had in there. So just keep going as much as you can until you get it to where it looks kind of like a really thick pudding, and just mix it away. So scrape the sides and bottom as you go. Make sure you don't have anything hanging around like flour or whatever that just didn't mix in. And when you get done, it should be about the color of the chocolate you can see right here. And that's really what we need to work with. Now, mind you, somewhere along the way at this point, you need to get a couple of cookie sheets ready to go. I line mine with parchment paper because it's just easier to clean up and it's just better to deal with. So probably it really wouldn't be a bad idea to do that. And then we got some powdered sugar here going on into the container to the side of this. I'm just using a cookie scoop, and I have a medium-sized one, and I'm going to make balls and roll these in it. And then once I have them all rolled out and they're all covered with powdered sugar, I'm just going to transfer them over to my baking pans and get them ready for the oven. Again, 350, 11 to 12 minutes. But you're just going to roll out all these balls. Now, here's the thing about this. This can be messy because this powdered sugar is going to go a few places you don't want it to when you're moving it around, because you're going to coat these things really well with it. Because when they bake and they start to poof up and crack, the powdered sugar just distributes around and everything. You got those really nice curves and cracks and breaks in this. And it looks really great, but it is messy to deal with before you get to that point. But just roll out all the balls that you got here for this, and this will take a few minutes to do because you're going to make quite a few cookies out of this. The best thing in the world to have at this point is a cookie scoop, because at least that way you're not handling the cookie any more than you have to. You're mostly just going to get like some powdered sugar on your fingers and everything like that. Otherwise, it wouldn't turn out so well. Now, you could use a regular spoon to do this. That's all on you. I just got to say, it's just a lot easier to have the cookie scoop. But when you're putting these onto your pan to bake them, leave a little room between them. These will expand out because the balls that I'm making here, they're going to, like, you know, the width of it's going to at least double for when it's baked up. So you just want to make sure that there's room, that they don't stick together. And just kind of watch them when they're baking. Make sure that, you know, if your oven runs like cooler than other people or whatever, that you give it the right amount of time. You don't want to overcook these either and make them totally hard as a rock. But by the time you get this completely done, you're going to have a large batch of cookies that are really amazing to eat. And these are what mine look like, and they were so good. So I hope you like this recipe. I hope you liked this video, and if you did, please like and subscribe. And if you get a chance, check out the Southern Mountain Kitchen website, where you can get a free recipe, check out the cookbooks available from the Southern Mountain Kitchen, and if you'd like to, you could order a cookbook at a discounted price, cheaper than Amazon, with shipping that is also cheaper than Amazon. So if you get a chance, check it out, and I hope you have a great day.